everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of, you guessed it, Perfection Unfolding with me, your host, Cara G. How are we doing? Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to show up for yet another week of the show. Doing this show has brought me so much joy. Like every time I sit down and I'm hanging out with you guys and I'm talking with you guys and we're discussing things, even though I can't hear you, but you can hear me, I just feel like my life has purpose somehow. Even though this is kind of, an obnoxious way to appear on the internet, I don't care. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something important. And if you've never been to the show and you've never heard of me or Perfection Unfolding, welcome to the place where we get curious, where we get vulnerable, where we try to peel back the layers of our egos and our personalities to get to the core of who we are, right? Which, in my opinion, is love personified. Okay, just saying. So that's what you're in for. So welcome to the show. This is basically me pouring out myself on the internet with the hopes that it helps you deal with your stuff too, right? Like, it's kind of like a behind the scenes look on like all the mess that occurs when you are actually a person in the world doing the work who wants to be better and do better and live a healthier, happier life. Welcome. If that's your vibe, you found the right place. You found the right corner of the internet. And listen, I know you saw the title of the show and you said, oh, well, I'm sad. What is she going to get into? Whether you know me or you don't know me, I'm sure it's giving chisme. It's giving, what is she going to reveal? Lots of things. But before we do that, welcome to the show again. If you've been here, I love ya. Keep on coming. I know you know what the fuck is going on. So, welcome. In some life update news, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. Oh wow. I did make show notes, so let me just, real quick. I just spent the last 2.5 hours writing my show notes, so why don't I just go ahead and look at them, huh? Oh yeah, I need to plug the show. Oh my God, I need to plug the show. Okay. Hey, Perfection Unfolders, I need you to rate the show. I need you to leave a review. I need you to leave a comment. I need you to let me know what you do and don't like. I need some kind of communication situation because, listen, I show up every week. I get literally little to no feedback, and that's okay. This show is still a baby show, but eventually, I said this a couple weeks ago, but lights, camera, action, studio, yes. This is all a part of the journey of this show. I've been doing this for 3 years, but it's been a very bare bones situation. And in the future, I'd like to do more, and I would love to give you in your car, you at the gym, you at work, I would love to give you more of what you're looking for, while also staying true to myself and doing whatever the hell I want. Okay? I love to just have cake and eat it, right? Other life updates. So last week I told you I was going to be doing the 75 Cara. And for those of you who weren't here last week, it's basically my version of 75 hard, except it's not this thing where I'm going to shame myself into making my life better. It's actually a really soft but powerful invitation for myself to get back to the rituals that make me feel like me, which look like 20 minutes of writing every day, 20 minutes of reading or learning, 20 minutes of sweating, my Spanish lesson every day. I have to do one audacious thing. I have to be creative, and I have to eat a vegetable with every meal. And I am here to report back that I am 6 days strong on that promise. So I didn't start on Tuesday. I started on Wednesday so I could, I started at the end of the day on Monday. Whatever. By the time you heard this, I hadn't started yet. So heard last week's episode, I hadn't started, but I did start on Wednesday of last week. And I have to say, almost being a week into it, I'm feeling good. I'm actually feeling quite grounded considering what I'm about to talk about in this episode. And I have those rituals in my 75 Cara to thank for the groundedness that I feel, because otherwise I would be crashing the freak out. But we're here. We're making progress. I'm doing the 75 Cara because I feel like, for context, if you weren't here last week, when I'm doing my rituals, I feel like me. When I'm doing my rituals, I feel rested. I feel like I have my brain I have access to my brain and my thoughts and my feelings. When I'm not doing my rituals, when I'm dissociating on my phone or on the internet or neglecting myself in these foundational, fundamental ways where I'm not enriching my life in any meaningful way, like I feel bad. I feel bad when I'm not doing those things. And when I am doing those things, I feel good. I feel like my capacity expands, like I have more energy because I literally do. And most of the time, like I'm literally eating better food for me. I'm literally moving my body and making my circulation better, stronger. I'm literally physiologically making my life better. And that in turn makes my mental better as well. So join me on your own 75-day challenge. My intention for this challenge, that it's been for the last 6 days and will continue to be, is it's an invitation, and it's about increasing my capacity for discomfort gradually and consistently over time so that I can be able to do harder workouts and read more books and have greater capacity for, relationship or whatever. Because I have right now, up until this last week, I've had like a capacity of zero, zip, nada. Like I have felt so emotional, so vulnerable, so like I feel like a crab outside of its shell. I felt so exposed recently. And that's even before I'm about to get into today's topic. That was just me in general. Like I don't know if it's the astrology or whatever, but I have just felt like maybe it's because I've been in transition, I've been in this liminal space, and I've burnt out my capacity for discomfort. And so I'm trying to, in this transition space, do these things so that when I am not in transition, I can like increase them and double down and do more and add more. That is my goal. So 75 Cara is going well. The creativity things I've been doing every day have looked like me playing my ukulele, which, ask me when the last time I played my ukulele was 4 years ago, maybe. I used to play my ukulele all the time. I used to dance in my kitchen. I used to freestyle dance in my kitchen, like whenever I would cook food. I haven't done that in ages. Some other things, doing one audacious thing a day. Well, you'll find here shortly that one of the audacious things I did was texting my ex, but we'll get into that. Okay. You nosy little nellies. Another audacious thing I did, posting on YouTube, showing up for this podcast, to me is I'm being audacious. Like I have the audacity to think that people care about what I have to say. That counts. There's been some other things, but like I've been eating a vegetable with all my food. I did technically have a banana with my sausage biscuit yesterday for breakfast, but guess what? Vegetables were created by the government. Everything's a fruit. Everything is for fruit, technically. Vegetables were created by the government. Okay. Fight me on it. And it's what's funny about me saying that is actually that's something that like my ex would be like, right. Now you want to agree with me. But anyway, I digress. We'll get into that. Other life updates. Oh yeah, I've been doing some salsa practice as part of my 75 Cara. I've been journaling every day, and just the note I put in here is like my sleep is getting better. I'm staying off the sugar. So like when I'm doing these rituals, not only do I feel more enriched, but I like actually have the ability to not give in to some of my addictions and my temptations, which 10 out of motherfucking 10. So hopefully, you have your own little 75-day challenge and we can do it together, and drop in the comments what some of your things are. The only rules to this thing, I made seven tasks or whatever to do every day because I like the number 7, but yours could literally be anything. Like this is tailored to you, for you, by you. And the thing that doesn't resonate with me for the actual 75 hard or 75 soft or whatever is that, I would have to change my life to be able to do those things. And then once I was done, the tendency to go back to the life I had is like way greater. Whereas my 75 Cara is like, I'm doing these things as a part of my life. There are already things that I've done in the past that I know that I can do, but I'm just choosing to do them like together, and that feels more sustainable to me. I'm all about sustainment. How do I sustain these things? Because I've struggled with consistency in the past, and I don't want to have I don't want to add a new thing on top of my life. I will just want to integrate these into my life, which, you can make that argument for 75 hard, but like, it's just that's not where I'm at right now. I might do that one day. Today's not that day. If I have no capacity, you think I can do 75 hard? You're crazy. Anyway, other life update. I deactivated my Instagram. Who's proud? I'm proud. I'm really proud of myself. Instagram for me lately, just being on the internet, it's been my number one dissociation tool for sure. I've talked about this many a time. And I've logged off Instagram and I've uninstalled Instagram. I've done all the things. But you know I'd be in that browser app. I'd be in my freaking Brave app or Chrome, Google Chrome, whatever you use. I'd be in my browser app logged into Instagram, scrolling through reels. An addiction is an addiction. You know, if I'm not going to feel my feelings and I want to dissociate, I'm going to figure out how to dissociate, you know? But so part of my deactivating my Instagram and my 75 Cara, I felt like I had, because I was doing my rituals and I was spending more time in real life, like making that choice for Instagram felt good for me. It felt like the right thing to do. It felt like the next step in my journey, because I've been talking about getting a brick phone or a flip phone or like getting off the internet. Like I've played around with the idea many times. And honestly, when I meet people who aren't on social media, I respect them and I admire them. Not that I don't admire people who are on Instagram, but like there's something about them not being on there that I'm kind of like jealous of. I'm like, oh God, I wish I could do that, you know, but I need Instagram for my business tool. I need Instagram for this. No, you don't. I still have the podcast Instagram because, you know, whatever. I don't sit there and scroll reels on that thing because I don't follow anybody. But yeah, I deactivated my Instagram. And how am I feeling now that I've done that? You might ask. Well, I'll tell you how I was feeling and the reasons why I deactivated it, which is it was really messing with my sense of self. Like, I feel like I've been on the internet since 2007. I had a MySpace, and then I made a Facebook in 2009. Then I made a Twitter in 2014, never used it. And then, you know, I've had an Instagram from, you know, probably since 2014 when I got a smartphone. I was a little bit of a late bloomer when it came to smartphones. And, you know, I've enjoyed it, but I've gone back and forth, I think, like many people have, with how it makes me feel and how I use it and how I integrate it in my life. And I've used it for business, and I've used it for posting my adventures and being creative. And I've also posted it for validation, and I've posted it on there for, you know, camaraderie and to be lifted up and to lift other people up. And for whatever reason, you know, because of what I've been going through the last, you know, 9 months to a year, it's just not hitting the same. All I'm getting from Instagram right now is just, it feels like a whole lot of rejection therapy. Because if you're not playing the algorithm game and you're not playing the game where like you're doing things that people love all the time or love to see you do, like if I'm not dancing or I'm not posting like me being funny or silly and I'm being more serious, like people don't engage with my content. Like they don't. And as much as I hate to admit it, that fucking sucks. You know, it sucks when, you know, you post a sexy photo of yourself and you get 350 likes, you know, saying something like never, like better than ever. I don't know, like some quippy little line that's like elusive and mysterious and sexy. And you get all this engagement and all these likes and all these comments and everyone's boosting you and validating you. And then, you know, if you just post something silly, goofy, or maybe even something a little bit more serious, a little bit more earnestness has like no place on the internet. That's why, like, I don't know who I think I am having a podcast like this, because being this earnest on the internet is not, you don't do this for likes and shares, you know? But yeah, and it's the same thing on Instagram. Like, the more earnest I am on there, it's like, yeah, so, you know, I think it lands for some people for sure. But when it comes to that, if I'm coming from a place where I know I want validation and I don't get it, God, it fucks with my head. It fucks with my head so hard. And I've tried to be really cognizant about that. Like I have a good sense of self. I've been really, really working on building this strong foundation of like me on my own, like away from and removed from these internet validation like tactics and tools. But listen, I fall into that trap just like everybody else. Like I am a narcissist if I think that I'm above fucking internet algorithms. You know what I mean? Like because I'm not. I am just a squishy bean. And because I've been feeling so vulnerable lately and so just like squishy and like I just feel exposed for whatever reason. Maybe because it's cancer season and cancer is like, emotional as hell, which I always am. But like, I feel like I haven't had access to my like objective brain recently. I feel like I've been all emotion for a reason, I'm sure. I don't know, but because that's at the front of my brain, I just feel so much more insecure. Like being vulnerable and not being met with like vulnerability and being met with like nothing. Yeah, that feels like I'm gonna die. It feels like I'm gonna die. So, I mean, not to be dramatic, but like, so that's why I deactivated my Instagram. So that's a big life update. And that feels big for me. I didn't delete it. Baby steps. Okay, I'm just a girl. Because I also don't want to lose my pictures. I am notoriously been an Android user my entire life. So like I don't have freaking iPhone backup storage. I'm sure Samsung has a version of that, but I probably opted out of it because I was like, you're trying to track me. So that's another big update for me. So maybe, you've been feeling the call to deactivate your Instagram because it makes you feel like shit. And you know what? Join the club. We'll do it together. How about that? Okay. My next life update before we get into the rest of the show. And also, like, if you're new here, I'm so sorry. This is how the show works. Oh, I share my life with you. I'm sorry. You could just skip past this part, and get to the other stuff if you want. But I do have another update. So your girl officially has promo items. Like, I guess, or like brand deals, I guess that's what it's called. I don't know. Basically, peek behind the curtain. The site that I host my podcast on, which for any of you who want to host your own podcast, it's really not that hard at all. There's like this, it's connected to this website where I can basically pick out products to promote. So they haven't reached out to me specifically. So I'm not like cool, like, a Gymshark girlies who get DMs from Gymshark. It's not like that at all. But like, there's this website where I can go through all these different products. I looked at all these different products, and I basically submit that I want to promote them on my show, and I got approved. So it's exciting. Yeah, so it's not like that's kind of like a peek behind the curtain of how that works, at least for now. But I got approved for 2 items, which is really cool because with these promo codes, I will get a kickback, right? And that just means like they will basically pay me a certain amount of money to promote their product, right? And so a lot of these companies, the cool thing about these companies is that they're much smaller, so they need creators, like me, who see their product and want to promote it to help their business. So it's like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of thing. So full transparency, with these promo codes, I do make money, okay? I will make money. It is a way for me to monetize the show. And if you want to support the show with a 5-star review or likes, comments, and subscribes, if you want to do above and beyond that, and you also like these products, you can support the show by using my code. So with that being said, let me introduce you to my very first promo item, my very first promo code. So this first product, I actually, like I said, I submitted to promote this specific product, and I went through all the different things that I could look at, and I went through and I only picked the 2 products that actually aligned with products that I would buy myself. I haven't bought these, full transparency, but I will, and I will keep you posted on that. And hold me to that, okay? So this first product is a company called Torrain. And they create bold, eco-friendly bags from upcycled feed bags and recycled plastic bottles. It says, the soundbite clip, it says, these durable and stylish products are perfect for travel and outdoor adventures. Enjoy an exclusive discount with my promo code PERFECT, that's PERFECT, for a 15% off discount. So some cool things about this brand. So I know that there's like, personally, when it comes to recycled plastic, products, sometimes there's like heavy metals, like there's like things that aren't the best about them. However, we got to take the good with the bad. Okay. We got to take the good with the bad. These bags, this is for every bag sold, there's 1 pound of plastic that's recovered. And these bags are so cutie. Like I went through the website and they have so many cute shapes and sizes. And like, there's like a crossbody, there's like a backpack. They all have different designs because they're made out of these old feed bags that basically the founder of this company was traveling through Southeast Asia, saw all these like beautiful, intricate designs on these feed bags, these like bags of rice and different kinds of food bags. And she was like, okay, these are like actually, the designs on here are beautiful. It's a shame that all these bags are getting thrown away, all these plastic bags. And so she was like, she used to design clothes. And so she just kind of she takes the textiles from the bags and makes them from the feed bags and turns them and upcycles them into these beautiful, gorgeous travel bags. So there's actually a design on there that's like a pink and orange checkered situation, like a tote bag. I will be buying that. Yes, I will. And if I can find that pattern in a different bag, I'll be buying that too. And the cool thing about these bags is that they're water resistant, perfect for traveling. So like if you're like walking in the rain or you are like to go on boat rides, like they're lined with the outside is plastic and they're lined with like their own designs that they make. I think that are made out of recycled plastic as well. So yeah, I said A, their bags are cute. Okay, reasons to buy. B, they're perfect for travel. Perfect. C, they're water resistant. Love that. D, they're actually doing something to make the world a better place. That aligns with my values. 10 out of 10. And woman-owned business. Love that. Let's support the girls. Okay. So if you want to get your hands on your own Torrain bag, you can use my code PERFECT for 15% off at checkout. And that is PERFECT. Perfect for 15% off. And again, when you use this code, you help support the show, which I love. The second company and product that I have a code for, this is so cool. I'm like, am I like a real influencer? Is this company called Tussle, okay? And they sell women's fighting fitness gear. Now, I love a woman-owned business, first and foremost, and I also love a woman-owned business that is going to help women like protect themselves. Love this. And it's not necessarily a company where they're teaching them to protect themselves, but they are creating products for women to get in the gym and learn how to protect themselves. And I love this. I used to be a kickbox girly myself back when I lived in East Texas, and I feel like I'm finally in an era where I'm like ready to get back in the gym like that. Like I loved that shit. I loved putting the boxing gloves on. I loved wrapping my hands. I loved being in that stinky, smelly gym that smelled like staph infection because I felt like I was like doing something cool. I was using my body. I was like, and also I'm realizing that I have a lot more rage stuck inside of me these days. So I feel like I need an outlet to really channel that. So Tussle, Tussle says it's empowering women in the ring and the gym. Tussle gear offers specialized boxing gear for women designed by women. Love that. Go off, queen. Unleash your inner champion with Tussle gear. So the cool thing about this company, when I looked them up, was they actually have this hybrid boxing glove, which was created for women. I guess men can use it too if you want, but created for women to incorporate who wanted to incorporate boxing and weightlifting into their workout. So most boxing gloves are like a full glove, like there's not really any movement. You can just punch. Whereas these gloves, they're like patent pending, which I thought was really cute. They're hybrids. So there's a patent pending and you can like full hand, you can open your hand and you have a full glove and close the glove. So you can lift weights, you can punch a bag. Love this. They also sell shirts and things, but the gloves are definitely like their coolest product, especially because the lady who owns the company like invented them. Okay, go off, women in STEM. Love this. So if you want to get your hands on your own pair of hybrid gloves with and through Tussle, you can use my code PERFECT. That's PERFECT at checkout for a 15% off discount. And again, when you use my code, you support the show. And listen, if you like the products, drop a comment in the show. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you want to buy and what designs you like. And maybe you could let me know what you like and we could be twins. So that is the promo code for the show. So excited. Code PERFECT. Anything else that I share on the show with you, I will always have looked into it and made sure that it aligns with kind of like what I value. And things that I would actually purchase myself. Have I purchased these items yet? No, I haven't, but I will, and I will get back to you on that. And that is my promise to you. Okay, now for the tea that everyone's been waiting for. Drum roll, please. My last life update. I texted my ex. I know, all you guys in the audience are like, boo, boo. Just kidding. Listen, if anybody who's been following the show, if you are someone who's been following the show, you know that the situation that I've experienced with my then boyfriend, my now ex, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but like maybe up to 5 times, getting together, breaking up, you know that this shit has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And you were here when I was talking about my relationship with my dad and all that tumultuous stuff. And you were here when I talked about my anxious attachment style and healing that. And you were here, like, you have heard me speak about how difficult my relationship life has been for me. Okay. And my relationship with my ex has been the hardest thing I've had to grieve and deal with in my adult life. Hands down. My dad was hard, but that's my dad. You know what I mean? Like I got to figure that out, and I had to figure that out. Being in a relationship, that's extracurricular. Okay, this is extracurricular grief that I signed up for. Okay, but it's also extracurricular love that I signed up for, And so, as I said at the top of the show, I've been feeling really vulnerable and really, really exposed and really so incredibly emotional lately that, I caught myself and I allowed myself, last week, probably Wednesday night or Thursday, I caught myself thinking about him. And, up until this point, I feel like, and you've heard on the show, like I've been in a better place. I feel like I've come to this the acceptance stage of grief. And, I'm moving on with my life and I'm making different choices and I felt like I was being really graceful about the whole thing, which I think I am and was and still will be. But I caught myself in this vulnerability stage. The thing that I want when I'm feeling sad is I want my friend. I miss my friend. And so I let myself go down memory lane. And I haven't done this in this breakup yet. I haven't gone down memory lane. I haven't reminisced the good things. Okay? I told you last week that I had been mostly reminiscing the disappointments. I mean, since I started this podcast again, I've been talking about how the disappointments have been at the top of mind, like just the sadness of it all. And I last week experienced the reminiscence and the nostalgia and how much fun we had together. And I made the biggest mistake by going back to that first year that we were together and looking at all those pictures and all those adventures and the videos of him singing and dancing in the kitchen. And I can't talk about it too much because it could make me cry again. So I let myself go there. And then because I'm dedicated to being vulnerable and transparent on this podcast of what it's like to actually do the work and to be a real person in the world and not hide what's true for me, I stayed up till 3 a.m, stalking him, trying to find him on the internet, stalking him in any way that I could. And I have no shame about this. Like, this is true for me. The truth will set you free. I mean, I went down his freaking company's LinkedIn trying to see if I could find a picture. And I did. Because he doesn't have any social media. He's not on the internet. And he likes it like that, And I found him. And I was so happy to see that he was at work and that, he was smiling in the picture. Because, there's no other way for me to check in on him, Everybody goes to the thing where they like to check in on their exes every once in a while. I mean, even if there's no connection there anymore, it's just not to say that there isn't now, but I mean, like in the past, you know what I mean? Like I checked in on a guy I dated like in 2019 and I was like, oh, well, he's bald now. You know what I mean? It's just like you check in on people and I just can't do that with him because he's not on the internet. So I went there. I pulled the thread. I looked up all the things I could and I tried to find him and I went through and I don't have Instagram anymore to look at my own photos. So I went through my old albums and like shared albums from like all of the vacations we went on and all the laughing and all the dancing and all the just like the food we ate and the smiles. And bro, it shook me up. It shook me up. I had been so logical, so strong up until this point. Like I've allowed my logical brain to my logical brain is what took me out of the relationship this last time, because I was like, logically, I cannot sustain this relationship is not sustainable, because I was losing my hair and I wasn't sleeping, and like I wasn't eating that, like I was getting sick from stress, and it wasn't healthy, and my logical brain gave me the courage to pull from that relationship at that time. And like I knew logically, like where this relationship is going is not it's not going where I want it to go. It's not giving what I want it to give. Like it's like all the bad parts, right? Like the parts that weren't helpful. I don't even want to say bad. The parts that weren't helpful were not sustainable, and they were so overwhelming that I had to get out, you know? But my emotions, they've been driving the ship recently for at least the last month. My emotions have been driving the car on the back end. Not, you guys haven't seen it, so much on the front end, but last week I've shared a really vulnerable thing about, me dealing with my past childhood trauma. And you know what? That's probably what triggered this. Is I wanted my fucking friend. I wanted to reconnect with my friend. I knew coming out of that relationship that our romantic relationship was unsustainable. But I thought that I still had my friend based on our last conversation, and that gave me the confidence to be able to like walk away with what felt like from the romantic relationship with confidence. And I don't know if anyone will be surprised by this, I didn't get a text back. I got no text back. And being in an already vulnerable place, and an already vulnerable state of mind, and an already exposed and emotional place, like especially revisiting my childhood trauma and, doing all, just like I'm in a transition, I'm in a liminal space, like my life is changing. I selfishly bargained. My heart tried to bargain with my mind, and my heart won in that moment, and even my mind let its guard down and was like, fuck it. Like, what do you have to lose? And I kept it light, and the message was light, and I was just, I was like, if you want to check in, I would love to check in with you. If you're not into that, if you're not open to that, I totally understand. And I meant that. I hoped that he was having fun in his new place where he lived, and, and I thought I was being funny. I cheekily was like, hey, still waiting for that Christmas present, because that was me like telling him I forgive him for not sending it. You know what I mean? Because I was so upset about that for the longest. But, it's like so petty that as my friend, I don't give a shit. It mattered when we were in a romantic relationship because it meant more than that. But as my friend, it's like, it's fine. I'm always going to love you as as this person that I love, that I once loved. I can move past that if you want to reconnect in this new way, And I met with silence, which he doesn't owe me anything. This person owes me fuck all. And I owe him nothing. But that's what makes relationships so beautiful, is that we don't owe anybody anything, But it would be really nice to just say no thank you. That would have been really nice. I think getting that rejection, a whole slew of emotions entered my mind, which, brings me to this topic of like the complicated grief that comes with breaking up. And being rejected in that way with the silent treatment, which again, he doesn't owe me anything. It's like I went through all 5 stages of grief, 5 or 7 stages, however many, you want to use to count. Like, it's like I went through all 5 stages of grief all over again in the matter of like 24 hours. But what's interesting is like, my body knew I wasn't supposed to send that text, because at the second I sent it, anxious. I haven't experienced anxiety like that since our breakup. anxious even the second I started watching our old stuff, because I was like anxious, and then I was like, oh, my friend, I miss my friend. And then that calmed me down. And then the second I sent that text and my body was waiting for a response, I was like, oh, and I'm right back in the anxiety that I had before we even broke up. And, I think the worst part about it is like, I was really hopeful. Like, earnestly, I was hopeful. I was hopeful that we still had something, that I still had my friend, because based on our last conversation, that was the impression that I had, you know? And the reality of it is that I don't. And it's like, I'm now that I went through that last week, the stages of grief last week, and I'm in a more grounded place today because of my rituals. I'm like at the acceptance stage again. And it's just so weird. Like, I'm going to get into the stages of grief here soon, but it's like weird. It's like, I use my logical brain to bypass my emotions and this like deep love that I have for this person to do what was best for me. Like, my logical brain was like, no, we have to love us first. Like, we cannot give all of our love to somebody else and neglect ourselves. Like, we have to love ourselves first. And that's what got me out. And that is what has carried me through. And I've grieved and I've cried and I've done the thing. And, I felt like I was doing it and doing it and doing it. But the thing about grief that is so sneaky is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what steps you go through. The likelihood of you bouncing back into a different one, it's like, I think the 5 stages are what? They're denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. And I feel like last week I entered back into the depression. It's like I literally can read these steps, and I can, in my mind, I can think to myself, oh, when I did that, that was when I stepped back into that depression stage. I went from acceptance to depression. And then from the depression, I looked at the photos, and then I went to the bargaining stage. And then from the bargaining stage, I sent that text to reach out to see if we had connection. And when he rejected me, I went straight back into the anger phase. I like regressed through the whole thing. I literally went backwards step by step, the same way I went forwards just a month ago, or, the last couple months. And I'm like, fuck, because grief is not just saved for dying parents and losing people to death. It is, a breakup is you're losing a person. Like, they died, but they're still alive. And that shit fucks with my head. And it makes me emotional because I didn't want to break up. I didn't want to. I don't think either of us did, if I'm being honest. But I had to. I think that's where a lot of my anger comes from. As I was like put in the position to have to, And not because there wasn't love there, but because the patterns that we have were unsustainable. No one is at fault for the breakup that happened. Our patterns are this beginning and end of why we couldn't be together. Plenty of love to go around. And even in this, and you know what? It's like, even in me processing this and accepting it, like, I'm still in denial of the fact that, like, if I drop down into my ego says, I'm not even worth a text back. Right? That's the information I'm being given. My ego says, I'm not even worth a text back. Like, what am I doing? Like, what in my brain says to me that, like, this person wants me to still feels connected to me in any way and still has love for me. Like, there's no, like, data and information to support that. That is just something that I have in my head based off of previous experience and previous information. Like, but all things considered, I reach out, you don't text back, like, you don't fuck with me anymore. And that needs to be, like, sometimes I think that needs to be the beginning and end of the information. Like, he's probably like, why are you making a podcast episode about this? Please shut the fuck up. Like, I don't, but here I am trying to zoom out on the thing. This is how my brain fucking works. It's like, it's ego. It's when I drop into my ego, my logical brain gets online and it goes like, no, like, okay, fine. Like, message received. Cool. I'll move on with my life. I'll leave you alone. Like, you don't fuck with me. You don't love me anymore. Like, okay, I accept that. My logical brain says, okay, cool. Keep it moving. But then my heart and my higher self, my God consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is so much more forgiving and so much more loving. And because I've done this work of trying to be in my higher self, to try to be in an elevated like state, I think this has nothing to do with me. And this is how he's dealing with his own grief. Just because you're in a place that is open, I mean, even, at least you think you're open to reconnection. It could just be grief, whatever. But just because you're in a place who has an open mind about, and you can separate that's my friend and not my partner, and you can have secretly this like, you see the best in people, and you're always going to hope and wish that person can become that version so that you can be together and it all makes sense. My higher self like has so much love and unconditional understanding, and like she knows, she can see like, well, he's hurting too, dude. Like, this is the only way he knows how to move forward, which is not talking to you, right? And also, like, he could have moved on. Like, that's also, and like my ego is like, well, okay, anytime a man doesn't want to talk to you anymore, it's probably because he's moved on, and like not just mentally, but like physically or whatever. Like, take the fucking hint. You know what I mean? Like, take the fucking hint. How many times, my ego, right? My ego, and even my higher mind, how many times do I have to be rejected before I read the writing on the wall? How many times do I have to be rejected? How many times do I have to be given the silent treatment to like get the point, And this is where I'm like, I'm a delusional, hopeful romantic. I'm not hopeless. I'm not hopeless at all. Like, hopelessness is like, I'm nothing without this person, and oh my God, I can't move on. No, I am incredibly hopeful. The basis of our relationship was rooted in like true, whoa, friendship. Companionship. Love. But because we're people, we also have patterns. We also have pride. We also have egos to answer to. And something I told him in our breakup was, I can't compete with your pride. I can't. My love cannot, it's not powerful enough. That's why we broke up, It was because we just couldn't, the patterns just couldn't be broken. And so anyway, all that to say, I texted my ex with the hope that he would validate me once more. And that he would let me know that there was still someone in the world who loved me, despite all the shit that we've gone through. Because that would tell me that I wasn't alone in my grief. And I really, really wanted to know that. But now I won't ever know. And that's okay. Fuck, I didn't want to get emotional on this episode, but it's like hard, bro. It's hard being, like I said, earnest and vulnerable, and part of me is probably like, part of me was like, oh, he probably saw my other podcast episodes and was like, oh, you're done? Well, I'm done too, And that's the anger stage of grief, right? And it's like, multiple truths can exist at a time. That is what's so fucked up about grief, is that so many truths can be true at one time. Yes, I am doing better. Yes, I do feel more like myself. Yes, I am doing my rituals and loving my life again. Yes, I'm not stressed. Yes, my hair is growing back, Because I've removed myself from that stress, from that pressure, I removed you from that pressure. I gave both of us a gift, It doesn't mean I don't still have a heartache. and yearning and hope. Fuck. Hope is such an evil little bitch. So, all that to say, I wanted to speak to how complicated it can be to experience breakup grief. And so I didn't want to just get on here and yap about it, because I also wanted to, after this episode, I want to make it, I want to make it very clear that even though my higher self will always have room, will always leave room for people to change and for people to ebb and flow, because what the fuck are we if we're not supposed to change? What are we doing if we're not changing? I change every day. So I am never going to be the person who just slams the door shut. I can't. I am incapable of it in this situation. Unless something horrible happens or he does something terrible or whatever, unless I find out new information that I didn't know before, in this current stage, there will always be room for people to change. For people, fuck, I can't even talk about it. And this isn't even with my ex, this is just like people in general. It is never too late. For me, at least. On my end. To reach out, to repair, to whatever. And not even to be in a relationship, but just to talk, And I mean that for every person in my life. It is never too late. And other people probably don't feel the same. And I accept that. But for me, I can't help but to have this open heart, bro. I can't. I want people to allow me to change, and I want to allow other people to change. And I just know that I can't, all I know about for me is that I can't, sometimes it doesn't work out where I can stick around and watch it happen. I think in this situation in particular, I had to go so that I could change and so that he could change. And I'm sure that's not the last time that's going to happen. I mean, maybe for us, I guess. I don't know. The message has been received. Don't get me wrong. And no text back. I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. I will leave you alone. I promise. I promise. I promise. But the one thing I'm going to say in this moment is I will never talk about him ever again. I'm taking a vow of silence around him and the relationship, and moving forward, I will only talk about things in general terms. And I think it's important for me in my journey to accept what's true in reality. And what's true in reality, and not in my spiritual woo-woo world that exists only in my mind, is that it's done. That connection isn't there. It's very clear to me now. It wasn't as clear before, I guess, because we left on what I thought was a good note, where, I thought, what was said was meant. Because what I say, I always fucking mean. I mean every single fucking word that comes out of my mouth. Every single one. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I tell you I'm going to say something and reach out, I'm going to do it. So it's hard for me to grapple with that, but I digress. But yeah, this is going to be the last time I ever talk about this. And if my friends are watching this, hold me to it. I can't keep living my life like this anymore. I can't keep thinking that I have a friend in the world when it's very clear that I don't. I can't keep thinking that the memories are for me. Those are my memories. And I'm going to remember this experience of texting my ex. I'm going to remember how it made me feel. I'm going to remember that, and also, I'm also going to give grace and be like, this is his grief too. It's his journey. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. Does it hurt and affect other people? Yeah, absolutely. And same for me. And this has affected me in like oh, fuck. I think I might have been a little too delusional this time around. And that's okay. But all that to say, I want to kind of get into, I want to talk about the stages of grief. So if you were going through something like this in a breakup, I want you to know that you're not fucking crazy, first and foremost. This shit sucks. Okay? You're not crazy. I don't want you to feel shame about reaching out. I want you to accept and allow. We talked about this with the self-sabotage thing. Accept that these feelings are real and true for you. Is reaching out to your ex going to solve any problems? No, it's probably going to make you feel worse. I can attest. But I'm glad that I did it when I did, because I have been grounding myself and I have been taking care of myself, and I was confident and sure about the breakup. That's not what I'm sad about. I'm sad about losing a friend that I thought I had. So it's like an extra layer of grief on top of what I've already been going through. So yeah. So stages of grief: denial. This can't be happening. Stage 2, anger. How could they do this? Stage 3, bargaining. What if I had done things differently? Which I've been through that stage many, many times. I think we both went through that stage many, many times, and which is why we got back together. I once went through a stage with him where I was like, what if he dies? Am I going to have regrets? And the answer was yes. And I was like, fuck. And I cried and cried and cried about that over and over. There's nothing like existential dread that will get you to reconnect with your ex, you know? Stage 4, depression. I miss them so much. And that was me last week. Stage 5, acceptance. I'm ready to move on. That's me today. I went through all 5 of these stages in reverse order last week. And it resulted in me going through all 5 stages in like the correct order the last couple days. And you know what's crazy is I texted him, he rejected me. I texted him again. I didn't even tell y'all that part. I texted him again. And I just said, I'll always love you. I have no regrets. And then I sent him like a quote from a book that just talked about like, you know, true love, like real love is like the death and rebirth of a relationship over and over and over again. And I saw this quote that said, and in her final act of love, she surrendered. Which is ultimately what I did when we broke up this last time. I surrendered to what was true. And then I thought to myself, and in his final act of love for me, he let me go. My ego wants to say he rejected me and left me alone, but my higher self is like, no, this is a gift. Remember I said gratitude is the medicine? His rejection of my text was a gift. Like, even if it came from anger or whatever, or maybe I'm blocked. I don't know. He's got an iPhone. I can't tell, but thank you. Like, if you're watching this, thank you. And I mean that earnestly. Like, thank you for reminding me of what's true. Even though the truth is complicated, and even though the truth is multifaceted, I never want to take, you're never going to be the villain to me. He's never going to be the villain in my story, ever. That motherfucker changed my life. And I just... I'm going to miss the good times. Always, you know? And that's true. And I surrender to that truth, and I accept that truth. And even if it's not reciprocated, the memories are for me. And I always have like some form or fashion of rose-colored glasses filtering through everything. I can't help myself. I can't help it. So, stages of grief, denial. I was going to go through a whole thing, but I think I'm just going to have to leave it there. I wanted to read these articles that I brought up of just like what to do instead of texting your ex, things that are helpful, but maybe we'll get into that next week. For now, I think I just need to go. Cry. Fuck. Ugh. This is what it looks like to grieve, by the way. A smile, the tears are running down your face. Yeah. But so I don't leave on a bad note or on like a sad note, if you will. I just want to say, like, I really do mean it when I say, like, what I was journaling about last night and what has helped me, because I never want to come on here and just talk about the shitty things, right? But to leave you with something more positive is this experience, this texting of my ex, this complicated grief situation that I've been going through the last week all over again, is my rituals work. Where I used to be, where I would have been incredibly dysregulated for weeks, days after something like this would happen, it took me about 24 hours before I brought myself back into reality, because I let myself be upset with it. I went through all 5 stages of grief in like 24 hours and then came out of it just like, thank you for the reminder. I'm grateful for this. Okay. Like, and we're moving on. And what helped me do that is journaling. My tried and true, you guys. I cannot stress how much journaling has saved my fucking life. Like, I was journaling last night and I thought I was kind of over it, right? I was journaling last night because there's a lot of complicated feelings happening inside of me all at once. Like, it's not just this relationship that ended. It's my childhood trauma that I was going through last week, and it's me moving, and it's me changing my life and flipping it upside down so I can dream a bigger dream and live a better life. And so all these things are happening at once. And I was journaling last night, and the message that came through that had me sobbing on the floor was, trust me. Trust me. Trust me. You have no idea how good it gets. You have no idea how good it gets, Cara. And I was actually even writing to myself as my future partner, which sounds really insane, but like, it made me I was crying. It was such a relief to hear the words baby. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, baby. You have no idea how good it gets. And as much work as you're putting in you, I'm doing the same thing. He was like, me in my head to myself, my higher self, whoever the hell. Maybe I was channeling a message. I don't know. He's like, just keep letting your light shine so I can find you. Keep letting your light shine so I can find you. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Am I having a split personality situation? But it was a relief to hear. And I was like, I needed to hear that, like, trust me, like, trust in me, like, and me being myself, like, I have no idea how fucking good it gets. And it's gonna get good. And it's been getting good. And this was not something, this texting my ex thing, I do not have any shame about it. I'm never going to apologize for loving somebody. Fucking ever. Fucking ever. You have to peel the love out of my cold, dead, crusty hands. Okay? I am a lover at my core. I will be a lover till the death. I will never apologize for loving somebody. Fuck that. I will never let that happen. I will never apologize for that. And I hope you don't either. Like, grieving and being someone with an open heart and someone with a deep well of love to give, it fucking hurts sometimes, bro. But that's not to say stop doing it. You know, like, don't stop loving just because it's painful. Like, that is the price of admission. Pain and heartbreak is the price of loving. Like, it is a packaged deal. I've talked about this before. But I will say, but it's gonna fucking hurt when it fucking hurts, but it's gonna be amazing when it's amazing. And I can say with my full chest that I have experienced amazing love. In more ways than one. Fuck, I am a disaster on this episode, guys. I gotta go. Just know that this is the whole reason why we're here, okay? The whole reason why I have perfection unfolding and why I do the work that I do and why I question and I get curious is so that I can have grace in times like these. So I can give myself grace. I can give the people I love grace. And that even if it doesn't, even if in the end we don't end up together or the friendship ends or whatever the hell happens, love was there, grace was given, and I can move on knowing that I did my best, bro. I did everything I could. I did not let my ego get in the way of me loving. I did not let my pride get in the way of me loving. At least in the end, I slip up and I make mistakes like every other fucking person on earth. And there were so many times where I wanted my anger to get the best of me. And I wanted to reject my partner. And I wanted to do all these things, but I would sit with myself and I'd fucking and I would journal and I would express it in a more healthy way so that I could show up better, more prepared, more capacity, more patience, more curiosity. And all I wanted was to be given that back, consistently over time. And that's what I want moving forward. That's what I want to give. I have to be the example, because if I don't do it, then who will? Who will? I don't want to wait on other people to be the example that I so seek. I want to be the example of what it looks like. Even if it's imperfect, even if I'm not good at it, at least I could say I fucking tried, bro. That's all I have for you today. God, I hope this wasn't too much. And you know what? Like I said in that text message, I have no regrets. I have no shame. This is what I feel like it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to feel like to be embodied in who I am. This is me being authentically myself. This is me showing up 100% Cara. And if that's off-putting, welcome to the show. But my hope is that you feel less alone. All of us are going to go through a breakup. If we haven't already, we will. And I just want you to know that it's fucking messy and it's complicated and it's multi-layered, and every time you feel grief, it's because there's nowhere to put your love. And that is the thing that we're trying to work with and move through, is that where we once had a place to place all of this great love, we no longer have that. We no longer have it. And so now we have to give it back to ourselves and give ourselves grace, and then increase. And now we just have more love to give, So I hope this helped in some way. I love ya. I know I've got snot running from my nose, but yeah, I feel grateful. I feel like these are just my Tuesday evening therapy sessions. But on that note, if you like the show, give it a 5-star rating, leave a comment. Let me know which part of me crying and snot-nosing out of my nose, what moment you liked best of me wiping the snot from my nose. You just go ahead and put that in the comments below. And maybe we'll get into some of the healthy coping mechanisms next week. How about that? Deal? All right. Love you guys. That's all I got. This has been another episode of Perfection Unfolding. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.